Hi everyone, thank you very much for stopping by and returning to the old world. Today there is some important news on the Warhammer community website, and for those of you who haven't seen it, I suggest you go have a look. However, I am going to cover the news today. What's happening? Well, it's another change to the Warhammer Age of Sigmar range. Why does that matter? Well, a lot of models that you may be considering for use with the old world are going to be disappearing. This is the second time Games Workshop has done a cleanse of the Age of Sigmar range, affecting model availability for the old world. For those people that do play Age of Sigmar alongside the old world, there's a note that the Beasts of Chaos and the Blown Splitters, alongside some of the older Stormcast Eternal models, will be receiving free digital battle tomes, which will only be able to be used until summer 2025, in which case things start drifting into the realm of legends and not being used for competitive play. Older Warcry and Underworld's warbands, Slaves of Darkness for example, are also going to be removed from sale. The article starts off really by launching into what's happening with the Stormcast Eternal. These figures aren't massively relevant for Warhammer the Old World, so I'm not going to touch on those here. If you do have an interest, however, in using these figures for the Old World, go take a look at warhammercommunity.com. The first Old World force to get a mention is Skaven. Now, these aren't a supported faction in the Old World, and there's been a lot of noise that the new edition of Age of Sigmar is going to have Skaven at the heart of its core set. So I can see why they're making some changes to the models. However, if you are using these figures or want these figures for your old world unsupported army, then now is a good time to have a look at what's available. The figures that will be disappearing are the Clan Rats, the Skyer Acolytes, the Warp Fire Thrower, the Rattling Gun, Gutter Runners, Rat Swarms, Master Moulder, Arch Warlock, Warp Grinder, Warp Block Engineers, Rat Ogres, Storm Vermin, Plague Priests, Jezzails, Doom Flare, and Plague Sensor Bearers. So this is a massive range of Skaven that are going to be disappearing. Now, I'm not encouraging you to get a big attack of the FOMO, bearing in mind Skaven are not one of the factions currently supported in Warhammer the Old World. But I do think you need to bear in mind that these figures will be now more difficult to get. You're going to be relying on third-party providers, 3D prints, and the secondary market once things have finished being sold by Games Workshop, at least until things start to get re-released in some kind of new form, whatever that may look like going forward. This takes us on to the Bone Splitters, which, let's face it, they're the Savage Orcs. Savage Orc boys, Boar boys, Shamans, the War Doc figure, the Mad Mob, Big Boss figure, they're all going to be leaving the range. Personally, I'd expect to see these reintroduced in some way for Warhammer the Old World, and it may just be because of the way the company organisation goes with different teams and different parts of the group looking after different games that this is happening. But it does mean we will be left without these figures for a period of time if indeed they end up coming back at all. Turning to Slaves of Darkness, also known as the Warriors of Chaos, it looks like it's really the Underworld and Warcry stuff that's disappearing here. So the Horns of Hashut, Tarantulas, Splintered Fang, the Unmade, Corvus, Cabal, Cypher Lords, the Skeins of the Flame, Iron Golems, Spire Tyrants, Untamed Beasts, and Karja's Ravagers. I suspect these aren't massively on people's list for use for Warriors of Chaos, but just in case you are thinking of getting them, bear in mind that that is going to get a little bit more difficult. The next ones to look at are the Beasts of Chaos. Now, it does expressly say in the Warhammer Communities article that Beasts of Chaos are coming back for Warhammer the Old World, and we know they're one of the 9 supported factions. But again, if you're collecting them now, it does mean that anything you were using through Games Workshop is going to be unavailable for a little while. What's going away? Well, it's the Beast Lord, the Ungors, the Bestigors, the Herdstone, the Beast of Chaos Endless Spells, the Gors, Bulgors, Warhounds, Dragon Ogres, Cygor Gorgon Kit, Beast Lord with paired Rippers, Centigors, the Tuskador Chariot, the Jabberslythe, the Doombull, the Shaggoth, and the Cockatrice. That's a huge amount of figures that will be essential, really, I think, some of those for making up a Beast of Chaos army. There is stuff saying these are going to be repackaged and returned to terrorize the forests of the old world, but when Games Workshop say soon, we're not entirely sure what they mean, so expect a gap in service if you're thinking of getting into Beasts of Chaos. There's also a few other models which are starting to go off sale and getting Legends War Scrolls. The Sylvaneth Branch Wraith, the Saurus Eternity Warden, so a Lizardman character, Valkyria the Bloody, whether she'll be getting rules for Warriors of Chaos in the Old World, who knows at this point. There's Skilla Afingrim, again, same applies to that. There's a Madcap Shaman, so a Night Goblin Shaman, the big boss on Giant Spider, a useful addition to Orcs and Goblin forces, and Mist Weaver Say. So, for those in the process of collecting forces who want to buy models from Games Workshop, I think it's, as I say, important to note there are going to be more gaps in the available ranges, at least as a temporary basis. Other providers are doubtlessly available to pick up these models, and there's always the secondary market. But just be aware of the impact and ease of availability that Games Workshop news today may have. Hopefully, this doesn't put too much of a dampener on your ability to collect the armies that you want to collect for the old world. And hopefully we'll see the new models coming out relatively soon. Personally, I'd love to see them picking up the pace a little bit, but can't see that happening. All that remains for me to say is thank you very much for listening to my trot through the latest news around availability of models from Games Workshop. If you've enjoyed this video and others like it, do consider subscribing, while I try and keep on top of the news being released by GW as much as I possibly can. Once again, thank you for listening. I am Return to the Old World. Have a great day.